Good morning. I'm coming to you to talk about intuition and the deep necessity for us to really start or listen to it more, for those that already started, to your intuition. Why? What is it? What is that inner voice inside your head or deep down in your gut feeling? What is this voice and why does it exist? I really feel like this voice is your guidance to where and how and who and what you can do or should do. Depends on, all words, but it just guides you really to where you need to go. And I'm sure that you've had these small inner voice moments that you haven't listened to, like don't close this door or take the keys now, and later you realize oh, I should have done that. I didn't listen to my inner voice. Small things that it starts in small scale and then it really then comes into big scale. Do you have a pain in this specific part of the body? And you have this moment of I should check that out. But then you don't, because then logic kicks in and it's oh, maybe it's just a stomachache. It'll be fine. Small things like this that we listen, that come to us as messages and that we many times bypass because of lack of patience, because of lack of time in that moment, or oh no, I can do this later, and honestly, it's deep lack of attention to yourself, because the moment that you place attention to yourself and place attention to this voice that's speaking to you, there's a reason for it. It's guiding you, and the inner voice will always guide you no matter what. And then the logical voice on top of it will always create a situation for this inner voice, whether, oh no, that's not logical enough, or oh no, I'll do this later, or this or this. It will create, it's like a saboteur that will create situations for this inner voice to not be heard, or feeling that it can be bypassed because it's not important enough. Well, it's fucking important. Yes, I'm swearing, because of the deep necessity for this to be understood. It is so important to listen to your inner voice, because your inner voice will tell you how your body is feeling. It will tell you how your body is malfunctioning and how you can heal your body. For example, a food that you're craving. Have you been craving leafy greens, or have you been craving, I don't know, an apple? Why? There's reasons for why your body is asking for these things, because there are nutrients in these foods or feelings, not nutrients and feelings, or feelings that you want to be feeling, or people that you want to be with more than others in that specific moment. There's reasons for all of this. Nothing happens by chance. Maybe things happen by chance. Well, this is very debatable, not for this episode, but everything happens for a situation to be created, for you to understand something, so you can step up, level up, and walk your path straight with a good body, a good vessel, so you can absorb your inner self and your outer self and live in this physical reality. I have seen so many times within myself and within people around me of not listening to your inner voice. And honestly, in a personal level, I have always been not let down, but oh shit, I should have listened to that. And it's so stupid that we don't. And please now take 1 second of your time and think, is there any time that you did not listen to your inner voice? Sorry. And is there a time that you did listen to your inner voice and you felt good about it? You're like, damn, I'm glad I did that. You know, in our brains, in our minds, there's so much battling of creating our own identities, of creating the physical reality around us. A battle for the inner voice to survive and to be there and not be clouded by the ego, which is not an enemy, but something to coexist with and to understand. But many times we allow the ego and we allow the logical mind to kick in and overpower the inner voice and that intuition that is so freaking crucial. So crucial. This is really what I wanted to come and say, the message I wanted to pass on today. And I'm sure many of you know about this, but just re-listening to it just gives you a little kick, a reminder to really do it. One, you don't lose anything by not listening to it, because it will guide you to where you need to go. It will take you to lessons that you need to learn. It will take you to people that may guide you to lessons that you need to learn. It may take you to your own healing. And yes, sometimes it's hard to see what is the inner voice and what's the logical mind, what's the mind and what's the intuition. Sometimes they get they merge a bit like clouds merge, like mist merges with clouds. It's hard to know the difference in between both, but the difference is there. I have to think about the mist and the clouds thing, if there's really a big difference there. But you understand the metaphor. The difference is there, and you have to just be observant. Have that little sensibility of what came first. Do I want to do this? Or do I want to do that? What thought came first? Usually intuition is the first thing that comes to you, not the thing that is then formulated, the thought formulated in terms of how you're going to feel, what are the repercussions, what the past, what's the future, who is involved, what will happen if you are involved. This is all calculated. That's the logical mind. It exists for a reason. We need calculation sometimes. Yes, for sure, don't ignore the logical mind. But the intuition is the guide here. The logical mind helps you to understand whether this guide, how this guide is going to take you to here, 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 or here. It will calculate. But many times the logical mind is also very negative and will then create a bypass towards the intuition because it's being negative about what's going to happen. Oh, this is impulsion. Impulse. Impulsion? Is that a word? Anyways, it's impulse. Oh, don't act on impulse. Yeah, don't act on impulse, but act on your intuition. If you pass in the street by someone and there's something at the back of your mind, like at the back, maybe you feel it in your heart, maybe you feel it in your mind. It's like this more ethereal thing. Maybe you feel it in your gut feeling. Maybe you feel it in your solar plexus. If you pass by someone in the street and it tells you go talk to them, but then you don't because you're shy or you're going to look weird or you're going to do this or you're going to do that, and the person might reject you, and then there's all the situation happening, the possibilities, but maybe it won't even happen. Go talk to that person. Overcome those barriers that the mind created and go talk to that person. Go into this shop. There's a reason why you need to go into this shop or you go talk to this person. Maybe you will find something that will guide you somewhere, or maybe you will find something that you can give to someone that will guide them somewhere. Maybe you will learn or exchange something with that person. Be alert with that. Don't be passive in your life. Don't be passive. We have so much in our hands, and so many times we choose to be passive. So be active, listen to your intuition, and guide yourself through it. We're always looking for outer guidances. And yeah, outer guidances are good. But they're just good because they bring you back to your own self. Punto, you know? And the moment that you really see yourself as a guidance, your inner voice as your guidance, you're really going to go far. I did that. I do that. And it takes me far. It takes me where I need to be. I really, really trust that. And I've seen people around me suffer because they haven't done that. They haven't been able to do that because a logical mind is so overpowering. So I really deeply pass this message on and ask you to pass this message on to yourself and to people around you. Listen to your inner voice. And please, when you do, and it works well for you, let me know. Let people around you know as an example. Because it's just the easiest key that we have inside of us. And sometimes we still don't use it. We still ignore it. I've seen too much suffering around me too much suffering around me because people didn't do it. So please do. I'm deeply, deeply saying this. Please do. You'll feel better. You'll be where you need to be. If you don't like your job and your inner voice has been telling you it's not a great place, leave. Don't be afraid. The only thing that is inhibiting you from listening to your inner voice is fear. Fear that it's not a good decision. Fear that it's not a good comment. Fear that it's not a good enough choice. Don't be afraid. Stop being afraid. Stop feeding fear. Fear is you don't need it at that moment. If we feed it, it's going to become bigger. Monster fear. With many heads, then you're going to have to, the body is so big and the heads are so big, you're going to have to start cutting heads and bodies. And fear is a machine. Fear overpowers and it makes you be passive in life. So stop. Listen to your inner voice, allow it to guide you, and you will stop feeding fear. I think this is deep enough and it's important enough to really talk about it. Smallest thing, the thing that we've had inside of us the whole time, and still we don't pay attention to it. It's really frustrating and honestly stupid. Just bluntly stupid. So, let's become more active within ourselves and listen to ourselves more. And you'll see the results. I know you will. See you later.